Now the bounding box also serves another function. Those anchors or those little reference points are actually interactive corners where I can manually transform or change my image. So let's do that next. I'm going to grab this bottom right corner and I'm going to drag it down. You see that? I'm going to drag it down. And this alters my image, does it not? This is a form of scale. This is a form of scale. Did I scale it proportionately with the width and the height? No. This is called a non-proportional scale. And there might be reasons for doing this or wanting to do this. For now, I don't want you to non-proportionately scale stuff. I want you to proportionately scale stuff. So how do you proportionately scale something? First of all, I don't want to have to place my image all over again. I want to undo what I just did. In the software, in the Adobe software, there is a feature called undo, and that's found under the edit menu. And the hotkey for it, and this is a hotkey that you should remember, is Command Z for undo. Some people say that Illustrator has unlimited undos, that it remembers all the undos, and I think that that's a little white lie. It remembers probably about 50 steps. It's actually in the preferences. It might be 50, it might be 200, but it's not unlimited. The other thing is, once you close your file, if I closed it, it erases the history of the functions that you ran, and so you can't go back to it. So it doesn't really have unlimited undos. It has maybe 200 undos, maybe 550 undos. I like to think of it more as a time rather than a quantity. I know that I can probably undo the last 2 minutes of my work. Anything beyond 2 minutes, it probably can't capture what you've done there. One of the things that we're going to learn to do here is to create our files in what's referred to as a procedural strategy, where the file isn't relying on this one linear experience of you constructing it. We're going to construct it in a smart, logical way where it retains the history of our file as it's evolving. And so to accomplish that, this procedural system, this procedural strategy, we're going to need to learn to manage our layers pretty well. I'm trying to teach you guys a professional, smart way, which maybe at first seems a little tedious, but in the long run, it's going to save you a lot of heartache and headache, especially if something goes. We learned that the bounding box also allows me to scale. I want to scale it proportionately. I just did a bunch of undos to get it back to where it was. I'm going to click on the bottom right corner, and in this case, I want to hold the Shift key down, the Shift key. So if you hold Shift down, it locks the aspect ratio. And this is an old Adobe hotkey, holding Shift when you use the bounding box. It's not locked by default. You have to hold Shift down. Let's do that one more time. I'm going to go to File, Place the pencil, grab one of the corners, hold Shift down, drag the corner out, and then I can scale my image to sit at a new position. I know the conversation is going to be somewhat tedious these next few weeks, but I promise you it'll get fun and exciting. We'll do some really amazing stuff. I showed you examples. But I need to make sure that foundationally and fundamentally, we all have an understanding of how the software works. Without that, we cannot grow together. Okay, and we're going to be in different spots. I want to make sure that everyone is growing at the same rate, relatively speaking, so that way we can